Welcome to Vibe Sense. In just the last few days, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced a huge set of economic reforms, changes that could really shake up everything from your weekly grocery bill to the country's long-term future. It's this really interesting mix of tax cuts, cultural celebration, and a major push for self-reliance. So today, we're going to break it all down for you. What these changes actually are, why they're happening right now, and what it all means for India's massive economy.
All right, first up, let's dive into the part that's going to hit your wallet directly. We're talking about the big overhaul to the tax system, which people are already calling GST 2.0.
Now, the first thing that really jumps out is the speed. These reforms were announced on September 21st and 22nd, and they started being implemented immediately. There's no waiting period, which tells you the government wants these changes to hit the economy like right now. Okay, so the heart of this whole thing is simplification. The old goods and services tax structure, which was kind of complicated, is being collapsed into mostly just two main slabs, 5% and 18%. And here's the key part. A ton of common household items that used to be taxed at 12% are now dropping into that lower 5% bracket. But it's not a blanket tax cut for everything. To make sure government revenues don't take a huge hit, those higher tax rates of around 40% are staying in place for super luxury items and what are called sin or demerit goods. So yeah, while your daily essentials might get cheaper, those specific things won't be seeing a price drop. So that covers the what. Now let's get into the why, because this isn't just some dry policy announcement. There's a whole story being built around it. The Prime Minister has officially called this a GST Bachat Utsav, which translates to a festival of savings. And it's probably no accident that this was all announced right at the start of Navaratri, a major Hindu festival. They're directly linking this economic relief to a time of cultural celebration. So what does this mean for the public in hard numbers? Well, the government is projecting that the total effect of these reforms will put a massive 2.5 lakh crore rupees back into people's pockets every single year. That's the headline savings figure. So you're probably wondering, how do they get to such a gigantic number? Well, it's basically a two-part equation. First, you've got the direct savings from the new GST cuts we just talked about. And second, they're adding in the effect of earlier income tax relief, which raised the tax exemption all the way up to 12 lakh rupees of income. And the government has been very specific about who this is for. The stated goal here is to get more disposable income into the hands of the poor, the middle, and what they're calling the neo-middle class. It's all about boosting their spending power. But this whole announcement isn't just about savings. There's another equally important piece to this. A new, really forceful push for national self-reliance, or Swadeshi. The Prime Minister made a super direct appeal here, calling for every house and shop in the country to make it a point to prefer products that are made in India. This is a real call to action aimed at both regular people and businesses. Now, this whole Swadeshi push is part of a much bigger government vision, one you might have heard of called Aatmanirbhar Bharat. If you're not familiar, it basically translates to a self-reliant India, and it's been a central part of national policy for some time now. And this is where you can see how it all connects. The immediate call to buy local isn't just some short-term thing. It's being framed as a vital step towards that really big national goal, for India to be a fully self-reliant and developed nation by the year 2047. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the so what. Why these specific changes and why are they happening now? Understanding the bigger picture here is really key. Beyond just us as individual consumers, the economic impact is expected to be huge for businesses. Simplifying the GST is supposed to make paying taxes way easier for MSMEs, micro, small, and medium businesses, plus all the small traders and local shopkeepers. And the hope, of course, is that lower prices will spark a big boost in consumer spending across the board. Now, these reforms are not happening in a vacuum. A lot of analysts see the strong Swadeshi push as a direct response to what's happening globally, with rising trade tensions and tariffs. And on the home front, the timing and the festival language are also seen as politically important. Tying economic policy to a festival carries a lot of symbolic weight that's meant to get the public on board. So we're left with this really powerful question. What you've got is a two-pronged strategy. Put more money into people's hands to get them to spend, and at the same time, strongly encourage them to spend that money on locally made goods. Will that powerful 1-2 punch be enough to truly redefine India's economic future? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching Vibe Sense.